Crawling through the plantation, the demon watches its human prey, a series of human killings that have occurred in a location that seems to be cursed due to the way victims fall into the traps of this predator between the years 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2022. During these years, there were official records of humans being devoured alive by the feared python snake, but what the local residents report is that this number is much higher. They have to live with the discomfort and fear of sharing their workplace environment with truly deadly animals. This is the World Nario Wild, and today we are going to share the true story of humans who were devoured by giant snakes. Photos and videos show the nightmare faced by the victims, and due to the news coverage, a renowned TV station is attempting to explain how it is possible for a snake to devour a live human. So go ahead and click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, consider subscribing so you don't miss any updates like this. Leave your like and let's get into it. In the year 2017, on the island of Sulawesi, located in the Borneo region of Indonesia, the island known in the West as Celebes, besides being a very popular tourist destination, stands out for its palm tree plantations for oil extraction. This activity is responsible for the majority of jobs on the idyllic island. Many residents work manually in extracting oil from these trees and receive compensation based on the quantity obtained. Some plantations are dense, and the noise from various animals, such as rodents and birds, can be a distraction. If these factors come together, they can affect the physical performance required to carry out this activity. It was for these reasons that a young man of only 25 years old fell into an ambush by a huge python snake. Akbar, a young worker, set out in the morning for another day of work. He informed his family that he would return late as he needed to extract as much palm oil as possible. He needed to earn more money that week to pay off some debts. By nightfall, he was exhausted but was close to reaching the required amount of palm oil that would earn him a good sum of money. Deciding to sit and rest for a few minutes before completing his arduous task, Akbar was surprised by a cold-blooded demon, a massive 7-meter python. The snake, a reticulated python, had been watching him for hours, waiting for the moment when the man would sit down to strike its deadly blow. Akbar was extremely tired after several hours of hard work. The night passed, and Akbar did not return home. The next morning, his family alerted the police, who, along with some of Akbar's neighbors, began the search. According to reports from people near the palm tree plantation, screams were heard during the night. However, since the area is known to harbor many snakes, no one dared to investigate what was happening. After hours of searching, what they found was not Akbar, but a comfortable 7-meter reticulated python, lying there while digesting its last meal. The snake's body was significantly swollen, and based on its characteristics, there was suspicion that it had swallowed a human. Akbar's work equipment was just a few meters away from the snake, prompting the police to decide to euthanize the animal and investigate the contents of its stomach. Upon opening the snake, there was Akbar, swallowed whole with his clothes and even his boots. Snakes like reticulated pythons are ambush specialists, capable of patiently waiting for the right opportunity. By coiling around the victim's body, they exert tremendous pressure that suffocates the prey. In this process, some bones can be broken. These snakes have the ability to dislocate their jaws to swallow the prey, further compressing it within themselves. In 2018, on the island of Muna, located in the Sulawesi province of Indonesia, one of the main rubber tree plantations in the region, which is one of the largest rubber producers in Southeast Asia. Approximately 90% of the island's inhabitants work in the plantation as rubber tappers. Even though the working days are always long, due to the presence of enormous pythons in the area, the local residents are accustomed to it and avoid staying in the plantation areas after sunset. During work, they remain very vigilant. In the year 2018, a 17-year-old young man, who had just started working in the plantation a week prior, ended up losing track of time. When he realized, it was already nighttime. Disoriented, the boy was not familiar with the location, and in the darkness, he got lost. The tracks left in the soil indicated that he had walked even further into the plantation instead of getting out. As he stopped to catch his breath and try to orient himself, the young man didn't have much time, as he became another victim of a massive python, measuring 7.40 meters. His body was found in the mid-afternoon of the following day, inside the snake. In 2020, on the same island, another life was lost to this powerful animal. This time, a man, during his work hours, sat down to have lunch when a reticulated python quickly coiled around his body. He was frightened, feeling a cold and fatal embrace, and without thinking, he began to scream. Other workers heard his cries for help and rushed to his aid, but they arrived too late. The man had already lost his life due to suffocation, and the snake was beginning to attempt to swallow him. The other workers put an end to the snake, which was not as large this time, measuring about 5.5 meters, not considered a big snake. In 2022, the story of a 54-year-old woman named Jarrah gained prominence even in Brazilian newspaper headlines. She was also a rubber tapper who went out early to work on October 23, 2022, but did not return home that night. Her husband and neighbors began searching for her, and the police were called the next day. In the morning, her sandals, jacket, and veil were found next to her work equipment, but ahead was an almost 7-meter python with a greatly swollen abdomen. Jarrah's husband, present during the search, began to cry and scream in anger at the tragic event. Upon opening the snake's stomach, Jarrah's body was found. The case gained significant attention, and according to the locals, this type of occurrence is frequent. It is a sad burden they have to bear, as they need to work to survive. The natural habitat of snakes is invaded by human plantations, drastically reducing their natural prey and leading them to target humans. This is a difficult and controversial issue that needs to be evaluated from both sides, the human side, which needs to survive, and the animal side, whose habitat is invaded. Driven by so many reports, Discovery released a fascinating documentary titled The Man-Eating Snake, which depicts the first case in detail and explains how a python can devour a person. However, Asia is not the only place where large snakes claim their victims. In 2002, a 10-year-old boy was reportedly swallowed by a rock python of approximately 4 meters in southern Africa. Here in Brazil, the famous anacondas, which are known as sucuris, also have the ability to turn us into a good meal. Despite most people saying otherwise, just ask the riverside population in the Midwest/north of Brazil to be surprised. If you like it, don't leave this video without leaving your like and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and enable notifications so you don't miss any update of our content. Thank you for watching, see you.